guys have heard about that. How many of you already have that endorsement? Do any of you have it? Linda? Anybody else? Nope. Well, oh, there, Katie, I see. There are a few that have done it, and if you guys want to do that, I can help you with some tips as far as getting through some of the stuff that seems to be only agent focused. But it is really catching on, and of course NAR is pushing it. But I wanted to talk about the next slide, which is that they are running a contest between now, June 1st actually, and October 1st to see how many, see who can get the most endorsements and new members. So you get 3 points for every new member that starts up and 5 points for anybody that is a new endorsement. Now, if we win, which I hope we can rally around this and do that, I'll probably be using the $5,000 prize to get pins for everybody, because they aren't free and they aren't cheap. So that's probably what I'll be using it for, so that members can get those pins, because you know how much they love those. Anyway, I just wanted to ask, for your help with that. And the next slide shows some of the marketing stuff, the collateral. Oh, no, it's not the next slide. Okay, so on this, what I was gonna tell you guys is the reason why this is really good for you guys is because this satisfies the code of ethics. And the last time I checked, we still have about half of our membership that has not taken the code of ethics. And I know you guys have the ability to check that on your own to see where you are with your membership. But this is a great way to satisfy that code of ethics requirement that we have between now and December 31st, 2021. And as you remember, Legal 2 no longer satisfies that. So you have to take the code of ethics unless you completed it before the end of 2019. If you took Legal 2 in 2019, then you can count that. But everything after that does not count. You have to take one of the code of ethics classes. Does anybody have any questions about that? Nope. I don't see any hands. Okay. Yes.
The education component earlier.
I'm sorry? Oh yeah, the education. One of the things that they have in this endorsement is the ability to add classes. And so we are looking into that to see what we could add that would be a benefit to you guys. Like, for example, if you have something that you think would be beneficial, we could add that in. So we're looking into those options right now and looking at expanding this. But it's not terribly difficult. It took me a little bit of time to go through it all, but I got mine in August of last year. So if I can do it, I know you guys can. Okay, next slide. This is just some of the collateral. I was going to say propaganda, but I won't. The commitment to excellence journey, that's for a member. This is something you can put on your Facebook page down below that. And then there's a full page flyer that they can use, on their website or on their Facebook page or whatever as a document. So it is something that they're really rallying behind, rallying around and getting behind. So I hope you guys can, help me in the promotion of that. We'll be doing a lot of push on it. So next one. Okay. So the next topic is something I know that we have heard a lot about lately. So I was asked by Tiffany and the diversity committee to offer some type of diversity course. And so we're offering a 2-hour course, and Soccer Chapman Thomas is going to teach it. Soccer does a great job teaching this topic. She's taught it both in state and out of state. and always gets really good reviews. She's got a real level head and knows how to approach this topic without, with just making people just uncomfortable enough, you know, so they learn, you know, so. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that the At Home with Diversity, I don't know if you saw this, but the At Home with Diversity royalty is 50% off. So between now and the end of the year. And there's been a lot of requests for that course as well. Next one.
We do have one question about this course. Will Texas Realtors be doing all of the marketing since it's a free course?
Yes, we will be doing the marketing. I just need you guys to go into cart and add it so you can, you know, take registrants. If you have any difficulties with that, you know, if you're having trouble like with monitors or you've got other classes going on or whatever, just reach out to John or I and we'll help you. We'll help you figure that out, okay?
And then the next question that we have about that is, can staff take the At Home with Diversity course? And then can staff take the diversity education course that's being offered on the 9th?
Absolutely. Yes. I encourage you to, yeah. Because I mean, the thing is that I listed a website, but if you guys have not seen this, has any of you seen the Long Island Project? You know what I'm talking about? Connie's shaking her head. So what they did is they did an investigation of realtors in Long Island. And while that's not Texas, I think that the practices and the things that you'll see there are universal across the whole United States. And it's just the implicit bias, you know, that we all have, and especially our agents, and they do it without even thinking about it. But I mean, you know, this is something that has been going on for a long time. We just celebrated, what, 2018, the 50-year anniversary of the Fair Housing Act. So it's been 50 years and we still have issues. And my concern down in the corner, I don't know if you can see that, but the penalties for violating the Fair Housing Act are pretty steep. And I think that we're going to start seeing, as a result of everything that's going on, I think we're going to start seeing more, oh shoot. Can you guys hear me okay? Did I freeze up?
Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay. I just got it, my internet connection is unstable. Don't ask me why. Anyway, I think we're going to see more investigations and more cases for fair housing. So I just wanted to encourage you to participate in the class on the 9th and also offer the At Home with Diversity if you can. Okay. All right. My next topic is the commercial specialists that we are this has been going on for quite some time. We have finally gotten this to the point where we're down to just identifying some instructors, and we'll be ready to rock and roll with this. And if you are interested in offering this 90 hours of coursework, it is a pretty intense, but the commercial part of it, you have to take all 90 hours in order to get the certification, plus have some experience. But it's just like one continuous course. It's not like GRI in that you can take, you know, one part of it and it's completely separate. This really has to be done in order, you know, 1, 2, 3, you know, starting with the beginning and ending with the third course. TREC is still in possession of the third course. We're still waiting on approval, but all the student handbooks and the instructor handbooks are completed. Shiloh has done an excellent job. Big hand for Shiloh. But she has done, I mean, guys, can you believe that she started, I got to just do a shout out. She started on March 6th or March 3rd, which I can't remember what the date was, but it was the first full day, Monday in March. And 2 weeks later, you know, we shut down the office and she's been working from home. And I can't even begin to tell you all the great stuff she's done. You know, it's really been doing great. And I can't believe what a great team that we have, you know, with professional development. It's just so proud of them every day. You know, they just really knock it out of the park. Did you guys know that we had 6,162 attendees in May? I mean, that's an all-time record for attendance. And that, even with the free Code of Ethics course, if you take that out, it still is higher than any other May that we've had. So it's pretty incredible. But I just wanted to give you guys an overview of the commercial specialist course. If you can go to the next slide, Shiloh. So we'll be rolling it out probably within the next month. It'll be available for you guys if you want to schedule it. And if you have any questions about it, we'll be getting more information out there as far as this course descriptions and, you know, all that good stuff very soon. We're just ironing out a couple more details, but we'll have that ready to go very soon. So stay tuned. But I think it's going to be good. It's a good interim. And then the last, I'm going to close out my part and turn it over to John with this part. And this is something I just got from Brandon yesterday. And this is the results of the 2020 primary, the percentage of voters who voted. And I wanted to show this to you because if you look, you can see that GRI designees might have a much higher rate than what the members do. And TRLP is even higher, and major investors, go TreePack, is really high, 71%. I think that's pretty incredible. So anyway, I think that's the last slide, and I'll turn it over to John.
Okay. I'm hoping the internet will last long enough for me to get through the 4 PowerPoint slides that I have, and we can get on to something a little bit cooler. So this is something we've talked about this, I don't know, for forever. And some of you have even been able to see some of it being beta tested at conference and at Winter Meeting. But the 2 primary things I'm going to be talking about right this very second are actually enhancements to CART to help your experiences and your member experiences as a whole. One thing we recognized, there was a bit of a deficit whenever the Texas Real Estate Commission identified a ruling or created a ruling about the photo identification, is that sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but at least whenever we're at conference, there's 250,000 people online trying to get into a class. Every realtor has 14 bags, 2 purses, 3 phones, and then they have to put everything down and 3 coffee mugs to then pull out their driver's license to show you their photo ID and then put it back. And so we were trying to find a mechanism that would suffice, that would not require them to go through that entire process. So that's when we created something called the FastPass. And one thing you guys are going to have access to this week is something called a FastPass Manager tool. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but sometimes when you're asking people to show you their FastPass, especially at this day and age, some people don't have pictures. Admittedly, whenever we first created the FastPass, we actually pulled their photo off of TexasRealEstate.com and we put it in for the bulkhead of those who have it. That helped expedite the process and get the ball rolling for members to be able to at least have a photo. We had to stop because a lot of them realized that's what we were doing, and then they realized they could change their photos. And in changing photos, that means they can put my photo in or somebody else's, and that's the whole point, is that we want to make it a valid photo ID. So with that, we did take that down, and now we have you guys have the ability as course administrators or co-course administrators to be able to upload photos for people. So what does that mean? This is a tool you'll actually see in your apps page. You click on it, and at the very top it says you can either scan the QR code that they have, or you can enter their truck license number. It'll pull up what we have. It has their name, their license number, email address, all that good stuff. You can actually upload a picture, or you can edit the picture if you want to. Some people really don't want their glamour shots from 1980, and so they want to change it to whatever it is, and that's okay. You have the ability to edit it, but here's the deal. You, as course administrators, and us, are the only ones who can edit it. They can't change it themselves. That's what makes it a valid photo ID per the Texas Real Estate Commission, because we're serving as the Texas Realtors provider, and only we as course administrators can make that change. So then, when people come up to a class, they can simply show you the FastPass, or Alternatively, Charlotte, if you want to go ahead and shift it over real quick to the next slide. I will tell you more about that in a second. Actually, can you go ahead and move to the next page? Yeah, thank you. So we're actually going to integrate something new. It's not called the Fast Pass Manager, so I'm sorry that I left that on there. This is actually the class scanning feature. You can actually scan people in and out now, or you can type in the license number. It didn't come in very well on the screen, but right above my name over on the left, you can actually type in the license number, and it will actually timestamp who you are, your license number, your date and time, and show your photo ID. So now they don't need to pull it out anymore. You can actually scan them on the FastPass if they have that to expedite the process. But let's say you have 7 people in the class. Having a scanner doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it takes longer to scan than to physically just type in the 7 numbers. When you type them in, it shows the photo ID now. So it'll show you if they have it or not. And if they don't, in the top right-hand corner, it shows you, oh, we can actually just navigate quickly over to the FastPass Manager. We had a photo, move on, and from that point forward, anytime you scan them or anytime you type their license number in, it'll show their photo ID. So this actually serves a multitude of purposes, but the primary one right now is actually identifying who's in the class, what time they scanned in, and also what time they scanned out, and also the photo ID. So if you can go back one, Shiloh. So on this is what's going to be our new page whenever the day of the class occurs. You have options. What we're trying to get to as an end result is an opportunity to disseminate the course materials for you for classes like designations and certifications and such, which means that you would have the opportunity to preemptively add participants to the course, and then at whatever date you identify as an acceptable date for them to receive the course materials, we'll give it to them. And so you don't have to worry about emailing, you don't have to worry about making sure they have it anymore. For all designation certification courses, they're going to have like a file library, and they can go access the materials. They can download it on whatever device they want to download it on, and now they have access to it. Can they still receive printed materials? Absolutely, we've already talked about that. But we're basically trying to circumvent this whole emailing or downloading and sending out and whatever it might be. Now they have access. Based upon your registration cutoff date that you will now supply into CART, then they will actually be able to eventually have access to those course materials. So that's kind of what we're moving to, and this is the way we can do it. In addition to that, we have the ability to either scan your attendees with the QR code and physically typing them in individually, or you can just simply do a bulk paste, just copy paste. So let's say the class has already occurred, you forgot to tell us about it, there was only 7 people, you don't really want to worry about it, you can actually just upload it just like you always have. That's what the option is on the right. So the left is the new scanning feature with the photo identification. The right is the way you've been doing it for forever. Any questions so far? Nope, good.
So,
okay.
Is it on there already, or are you just showing like what it's going to look like? I'm sorry, I just got in.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely, Brittany. Thanks for asking. This is what it's going to look like. We're beta testing it right now because we don't want to send it out to you guys and say, here, go have fun, and it breaks. And so we want to make sure it's actually working before we roll out. I'm assuming 2 weeks tops, you're going to see this, and we'll let you know when it comes out. But the goal is to be able to get this out to you guys in the next 2 weeks at the latest. If you look at all the items that are listed directly below the scanning attendees or copy and paste, that's actually the entire CART process from start to finish that you guys have been accustomed to. Now, you don't have to do them all in order. So if you want to leave for a day and come back, you can. It has options. If you have documents you want to upload later, you can. So the goal is that it actually allows you to go all the way until the very end where it says close course. Once you close it, we're done, and then we start taking our action. But we're going to let you play around with it for as long as you need to, hopefully within 2 business days, and then you can close the course, and then we can move on. So basically, this operates the exact same as before, aside from the scanning opportunity. It just looks a little different, and it creates each option as autonomous features. So you don't have to go through the process, and then you're done, you look up, and you forgot a file, and you have to email it to us. Any questions on this so far? Okay. Let's go ahead and move to that next screen real quick. So, nope, let's go back one. I have just one more thing to mention on this. So with this scanning feature, if you choose to scan, you have the ability to create a record of everything that happened for the class. So when you scan people in, it will put the name, it'll put the date and the timestamp, and then there's a little toggle switch at the top. You can toggle the scan out, and you scan them out as well. So that way you have a clear determination. So when somebody says, I was there the entire time and I deserve credit, you can look at the timestamp and say it's really hard to get 2 hours of credit for a class when you were there for 7 minutes. So it really helps clearly identify exactly what time they got there, what time they left, and it gives you a complete running record now by using the scanning in and scanning out feature. And so now, Charlotte, if you can go to that next screen. This is what the reconciliation page is going to be. So basically, once you upload the documents or once you scan people in and out, it's going to let you see who did what. Now, this class has already been processed, so it's not real anyway. But what would happen is all the people on the left are people who have pre-registered by people, you putting them in ahead of time, like an ADR course, for instance. They pre-registered, they signed in, and they signed out, and then they're moved over to the left, and these people are ready to go. The exceptions are over on the right. Either A, they were not pre-registered, so i.e. maybe they didn't pay, B, they didn't sign in or didn't sign out, but you will have the ability to override those people. So for instance, you see your people coming, signing out of the class, you see Umberto take off on a phone call, and he totally forgot to sign out. You can look up and say, I know he was there the entire time. I know he didn't sign out. I'm going to go ahead and override it, and it will move them over to the screen. So you have the ability, regardless of the scanning and scanning out, you have the ability to control everything. You can move people both ways. So even though people might have scanned in and scanned out, but they were completely disruptive the entire time, you have the ability to not give them credit. That's okay. So you actually, this completely gives you complete control. It just timestamps everything for you. So whenever it's done and you decide that everybody on the left is supposed to get credit, everybody on the right you're not sure about, you can say next. And it right now it says use summary because it's done. But you hit next, and then it will move to the very next screen, which I don't think I have at this point. But basically, it's everything like you've seen before. Uploading documents, providing comments, whatever it might be. So basically, this is a new screen, and it's going to basically let you know who's done what. If you choose to bulk upload class participants, you're still going to see this screen. It's just going to automatically put everybody on the left because you're overriding everything. If you choose to scan people in, it's going to give you the ability for them to go back and forth between override or you're floated there or there's an exception. Are you sure you want to give these people credit? Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so I'm great at putting people to sleep, so I hope that that is not what happened at this time. But basically, our goal is to still give you guys options to provide an opportunity for the FastPass manager for you to be able to have a photo identification that they're not required now to submit to you. You still see it, and you can govern that, and you can actually control when people get course materials here soon, and also who should and shouldn't get credit based upon the scan in and scan out features. That's basically the new enhancements to CART at this time. No questions, right? Okay, I'm sure once you get it, you're gonna have questions, and that's okay, because we're gonna start rolling it out slowly so we can figure it out, and then we can play with it and figure out what we can do to enhance it. So that's gonna be within the next 2 weeks at the latest. We're almost done. So the very next thing I'm gonna mention is in alignment with CART. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced how long it takes for the National Association of Realtors to recognize credit for a class. I mean, I have gray hair by the time it actually shows up. It takes a month sometimes from the time somebody completes a course to the time that they can actually move forward in the with the designation. And so we've actually been working with the National Association of Realtors, and we're assuming by the third quarter of this year that we're going to expedite their processes. So instead of it taking 4 weeks, it might take 2 days. And so hopefully that's going to be a great benefit to our members, so they don't have to wait so long administratively, not even things that they've done, that they have to wait so long to get their designations that they've worked so hard for. So that's something we've been working really hard on. You're going to see a tangible difference here in the next few months as to how quickly they're going to be able to move forward with and receive those designations. So more to come on that. Let's see, is Steve on the phone? I don't think he is. Yeah.
Okay, before FastPass Manager, did you say, like, is it going to be like under the drop down? Like, you have apps and dashboard. Is that going to be like FastPass Manager? I must have missed that part. Sorry. No,
it's a fair question. It's actually going to be in 2 places. One of them is going to be a unique thing, just like CART. It'll have FastPass Manager right there. And then in addition to that, within CART, whenever you're processing class, whenever they walk up and they don't have it, there's going to be a link to the FastPass Manager. Will open up in a new window but you can actually take care of their photo ID right there as well. So if they're sitting, say that this is the real world, again, back to normal, and you have attendees coming to your class and they don't have it, you can literally take a webcam and take a picture right there. And then that picture will suffice as the photo ID going forward once you upload it through the FastPass Manager. So you'll have a link both ways. It's the exact same tool. It's just where you would access it. To answer your question. Awesome. Did anybody else have a question? Okay. Let's move on to something totally different. Let me check the time. Okay, we're actually doing pretty good. The next thing is actually going to be, before I move forward, Shiloh, did you pull up the course administration page by chance? I lost you. Okay, if you could do that real quick. We're about to
I
get
didn't,
there.
but I can, yeah.
Thank you, thank you. And the 3 documents that we were working on this last week. We'll share those.
I've got it. Oh, I've got it open too, if you want me to do it.
Okay.
I got it.
It will
It's
be a
here.
race.
Okay.
Okay, so the one thing that we wanted to just give you guys a heads up on, we haven't nailed down all the details, and this is not specific to the course administration page yet, but this is something that we were talking with Steve about, is to help brokers in across Texas educate their members. We created this idea of providing a broker education, and in doing so, it's not actually to educate brokers, it's to allow brokers to educate their members. The intent is that basically they can subscribe to 12 one-hour sessions once a month. And in doing so, they get a variety of education. It doesn't matter how many people attend. It could be 100 or 500 or 3 or whatever it might be. They're subscribing to it, and they get to choose what they're going to offer and how many people are going to attend, and we will provide CE credit at no cost after that subscription has been paid. The one thing that we wanted to extend to you guys, and what we're mentioning it to you, is whatever we're going to charge those brokers individually, we will actually charge the association individually if you guys want to do that. And you can do whatever you want at that point. You can actually allow all of your members across Texas or in your area to participate, extend it to brokers at a reduced rate, whatever you want to do. But our goal is to help offer education. So if you want to partner over with us on that, just kind of keep in mind that we're looking at something that'll be 12 one-month sessions. It's a subscription basis. And the intent and hope is you can take that and then give it back to your brokers or sell it to them, I don't care, but provide it to them. And so that we're able to offer it to them and hopefully offer some really good national level education that we can bring back on a once a month basis for about an hour or so. So just to kind of give you a heads up on that, we're not thinking incredibly expensive, right? I can't remember off the top of my head. It's pretty cheap. I think the most we ever thought of was like $1,000 for the year. And so,
that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. So please don't quote me on that because I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's about that. It's not going to be much more if that's the case. It could even be less. So just want to give you a heads up that might be an additional service that you can consider and you can implement starting in 2021. We will give you more information as we continue to scope that out. We want to get more feedback from our professional development committee regarding what is involved in that and what would be expected. Since many of them are brokers, they have a really good idea statewide as to what would be beneficial across the state of Texas. So our goal is to get more feedback first, and then we'll let you guys know this is what we're planning to do. Any questions about that? Sweet. Either I'm that thorough or that boring and you've moved on. So let's go ahead and move to another thing. One thing we promise you guys is we're going to give you more information that you can use as best practices and common expectations for broadcast classes as a whole. So that's what we've done this past week. So on our course administration page, we have updated 3 documents, created 1, updated 2. And so on this, let's go ahead and move to probably the most prominent because it's the newest. The 4th one down, Shiloh, is the instructor best practices for remote courses. So now let's go up to the 4th one. Yeah, there you go. So this is something that we're going to send out to our instructors this week. And basically it outlines expectations when you're offering a broadcast class, especially with multiple locations. This is going to be the best practices and expectations that not only we would have as the provider, but also associations would have as well, because we want to make sure you guys have the right control that you're looking for to be able to monitor your people and make sure that your class is a success with your members. And then that way there's no concern, there's a continuity regardless of who the instructor is, there's a general expectation. And so with that, we're going to send that out to them. Of course, as always, it's a working document, so if we make updates, we will let you guys know. But at this point, this is the first draft that we're going to make sure instructors have. Of course, we also value your feedback, so if there's anything in particular you see that's a bit of a problem, it's on the course administration page, and it is called Instructor Best Practices for Remote Classes. Take a look, let us know, and we'll be happy to see if it's something that does comply with the entire state of Texas, especially for broadcast classes. So that's the first one. The second one is the one you were just on a minute ago, Shiloh, the addendum. Yeah. So this is the extra monitor instructions for hosting complete remote courses. We've changed them. We've added a couple things. We've edited a couple of things. But in alignment with the stuff that we were talking about with the instructors, this now aligns with that too. So that way everybody's on the same page as far as general expectations. So same thing. I don't expect you to read it all right now. So please feel free to read it over, take a look at it, let us know your feedback. Our goal is to officially say this is it by this Thursday or Friday at the latest. So if you have any feedback, please send it to us so that way we can take a look at it and again, make sure it's the same general practices for everybody. So this is the addendum for remote courses. And then we have a third one. And this one is truly an ongoing one. It's how to prepare students for remote classes. A lot of this has already been there before. We added some stuff at the bottom, basically. We recognize that like the dissemination of ebooks is something that is new and hard for people to understand. We also found through accident that when you're on a tablet and you're trying to take an exam, that doesn't work. So we threw that information in there as well. So as we come across tips, tricks, or issues, then we're trying to address them while on here. Once you look at it now or download it or whatever it might be, you don't have to keep going back to it necessarily. We will let you know whenever that we make a change to it. So you don't have to keep going back and checking it week over week or anything. But if we come across a new issue, a new tool that's free, that's easy for people to use, we're going to continue to add and build out this information. You're welcome to take it, copy paste it, use it for your own. We just put it in a centralized document so that way in case you're looking for something as a baseline for your members when you're communicating with them, this is what it's for. So use it or not, I mean, it's your choice, but we're just trying to provide that information to you guys so then you can then either pass it along or not or enhance it, however it might be. Any questions about those documents? Man, I can hear crickets, literally crickets. That's amazing. Okay, next item. This is not on here. We just started it this week, that's why, but it should come very relatively quickly. Anybody who's ever tried to get a course added, there's an exchange of emails going back and forth. Sometimes you get lost. Sometimes there's misunderstanding of what it says, what it means. We're creating a web form, and the web form is going to be completely comprehensive to make sure we know get exactly what we need to be able to move forward, and you know exactly what is expected of you as a course person who wants a course. So it'll be listed on the course administration page, and it'll be the application, course application. And it will be comprehensive. It will ask you exactly for everything that you need, and it will tell you exactly everything that we need. And hopefully we'll expedite the process, but most importantly, put everything into exactly one location that we can all access and know exactly where it is. So there's no more email exchange going back and forth, or hey, did I give you this, or anything like that. I can also say that at the time in which you submit, assuming that we have everything, that that's when the clock starts as far as the time from the Texas Real Estate Commission. At this moment, it's a 75-day turnaround to get started and to finish. Of course, when we go back to normal, it's probably going to drop down to 60, maybe even faster. But just know that that's the intent, is that hopefully by the end of this week, mid next week at the latest, that's going to be posted. We'll make sure and let you guys know in an Education Insider. But that you'll be able to add courses that way. Any new classes can be posted there. Same thing for instructors too. If you have an instructor that has content, you can just point them to that link and say, here you go. Everything that we need is going to be on that link, so just go to the link and follow the directions. So any questions about that?
You said that's the web form, right?
Yeah, it will be a web form, so it'll be on that course administration page. Brittany, it's not there right now, but it will be, and it'll have everything that you need on that page.
Okay.
You know, I just happened to see a question come up from Debbie. And I'm so desiring to have a conversation as opposed to me fire hosing you guys. So I will answer that really quick if that's okay, Shiloh. Can we edit classes and cards? That is next. Our first goal is to roll out what we just talked about with the way that with Class Gainer and the FastPass Manager. That should be out by not this Friday, the next Friday at the latest. That's our goal. As soon as that's over, our goal is to then move to editability within cart. So when you send something in, you guys know you always have to contact us. We have to edit, delete it, whatever it might be. It's a pain. We don't want that. And so we want you to be able to add it and edit your own classes. And so that's next on the list. So I would assume it would not take that long, but we just want to make sure that when we open up that can of worms, it doesn't break something else. That's our biggest concern. That's why I can't say, yeah, it'll be like 3 days later. We want to make sure that we don't break anything in the process. So, but yes, that is next on the list. So thanks for asking, Debbie. Any other questions?
We did have one other question about the monthly CE offers and who will monitor those.
So if you choose to sign up as the host of the course, then it would be you or somebody you have designed or desired. So it could be like, for instance, if you want to sign up for multiple brokers throughout Texas or throughout your association, and they choose to sign on, they can be the monitors for you, and they get everything back to you. You're the point of entry to get it to us because you're the one that signed the agreement with us. So there's options as far as that's concerned. It doesn't have to be you. And in this case, it's built-in monitors, right, with those brokers, because they're going to be there anyway, seeing what agents are participating. But the goal is that we are able to extend past our walls like we're doing right now to offer more education, and most importantly, getting the broker buy-in. We all know if brokers agree to the education, it's amazing that the agents magically start showing up. And so, and also it provides them an incentive, they can say, this is the education I'm providing to my agents. So we assume that, because we've actually done something very similar to this before a long, long, long time ago as a beta to see how it worked, and the brokers were very committed to ensuring the quality and integrity of the course existed. So I'm assuming that the brokers can also serve as monitors, so you don't have to. You just have to turn in the paperwork. That's it. Great question. Any other questions?
We have one from Yadira. Will we have to put the input the license numbers into cart so they can get the course information?
Can you repeat that question one more time just to make sure I understand what's being asked?
Well, and Yadira, you might want to, if you can unmute yourself, it might be better if you ask the question because I'm not sure I understand it fully either.
What they're asking is, will they have to put in the license number in order for the student to get access to the materials?
Got you. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And yes, eventually, when we disseminate that opportunity, if running it through our library system, you will have to preemptively upload those people. Now, when I say preemptively upload the people, if you're keeping track of the people and you have them in an Excel spreadsheet, you can copy the column of license numbers in the Excel spreadsheet and paste them into cart preemptively, and that will give them access immediately. Well, whenever they'll post them in a cart immediately, and they'll get access to the course materials at whatever date you decide. So yes, eventually you will be preloading them in before the date of the class. But in doing so, then they will have access to the course materials from that point forward, whenever you decide. But it can be a batch upload, not an individual license input. That's not our goal. Okay, well, that was easy. Any other questions?
Me, sorry.
Billy.
So what you're saying is the day before the class, we input all the people who have registered for that class. And we set the parameters for when they will receive the documentation, any handouts or whatnot for the class. So y'all will be, or Texas Realtors will be sending that via email to those members who have signed up for the class. Is that what I'm hearing?
So what will happen is we will send them an email notification that is accessible on our website. And we're going to have a library on our website that they can access all the course materials for the classes that they've participated in. And so it will be on there. The benefit of something like this is, say, for instance, well, I mean, obviously, we're talking mainly about people who might register 2 weeks ahead of time, right? There will come a day where they're going to receive it ahead of time. The other benefit is if, for whatever reason, they walk in the day of, you can register them the day of, and now they magically get the course materials. It's already there in their library. They just download it and they move on, walk into class. So we're trying to find a stopgap. We started this process way before COVID ever came around. And the goal was to hopefully not get in a situation or a pickle where people look up and we have somebody standing in front of us to participate in a class, and we don't have any course materials for them. And so that was our goal, is to have that opportunity going forward where everybody can always have access to it, but we don't have to worry about emailing things out. They just go access it from our website. So that way email can't get lost in the shuffle. They just log into our website to a specific place. It's on the My Education page whenever it comes out, and they can download all the course materials from all the classes, designation certification courses they participated in or are scheduled to do so. Cool. Anybody else? Going once, going quiet. Let's see. Oh, I can't read that fast.
There's one, yeah, so Jennifer was asking about association staff having access to the materials library because there are often participants who never get the materials.
I think it's a fair question. Never delved into that before, but I don't see why not, because all the course materials are currently posted on the course administration page anyway. So we'll just move it to this file library, and you guys will have a master list that you as association staff will just get access to, period. I don't see why not.
Well, it is available right now on the course administration page, right? All the student materials.
Yes, that is correct. So
So
what we'll do is, what?
I was just going to say that you guys have access to all the materials right now. You know, if anybody didn't get an email or whatever, you have access to everything has material that's out there.
Yeah, we'll probably move it, just that way people who haven't registered for the class can't get to it, and we'll make sure only you guys can access it as association staff. So it might move, but we'll have it available for you. We just got to figure out how we're going to do that. But yes, we can definitely move in that direction. In fact, I'm going to write that down. Anything else?
A couple of things. So is there any change to the process for Zoom links being emailed for courses? Since we may not have to email course materials, will we still email the Zoom links?
Yeah, I was really hoping you guys would ask easier questions. Okay, so currently the plan is to still email the links out because there's no safe way of publishing it anywhere else. For instance, if we put it on our Google Calendar that's public and people can access it, that's going to further provide Zoom links, in my opinion, unless we create a password of sorts and we email the password out as well. So basically, we're back to emailing. And so let me talk to our IT department and see what I can do about that option. We don't have, I don't know of a way that we can't publicly display it without the potential threats, to where there's always going to have to be an email exchange, which is always safer than just publishing it on a public website. So let me continue to investigate that. It is possible that we can have, for instance, if we have like a file library, well, I don't know why we can't also have a file links as well. So maybe we can do something like that. So let me see what I can do. Can't guarantee anything, but let me see what I can do.
That was
we
a
have-
terrifying question. You got it, Shiloh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Diane from Pampa, and I do need some clarification on whether or not you're meaning the link to the course materials or the Zoom link. But the question is, okay, course materials. So you've had some issues with students accessing from the link from the Texas Realtors website, or?
No, I go in to copy the link from my webpage, but they can't access it because they're not logged in under me. So that's where I've had a problem. I'll send a link, but they're not able to access it because it's for my login page, not theirs.
On the Texas Realtors website. Okay, so we may need to.
That they can't, you know, I can send the link, but they're not going to be able to get it. They have to be logged in.
And they can access it from their login, right?
They get confused.
Sure.
Imagine that, you know, but it's like, just go to so I've just sent a picture before stating this is where it's going to be at. I can't send a link because it's from my homepage, not yours. You have to be logged in.
Hmm.
Okay, then I have a way to help you. I'll give you instructions that you can use going forward. As an interim, we might be able to fix something, but as they're going to have to learn how to log into our website ultimately, and we'll have only because that's where everything is, right? And so with that, I know, right? So we'll have a list, like we'll have a sheet that you can provide to them of exactly step-by-step what to do, that you can send to them, and if they have any questions, then they can actually contact us instead of you. So, because if they have any problems, then it's on our end, not on the information you provided. Cool, we can do that, no problem.
And then Julie had a suggestion as well. She creates a Google Drive for the materials and sends that out. So that may be a way as well by downloading the materials yourself. You just want to make sure that those are updated with the most current materials.
And with that, our license with the National Association of Realtors indicates that we can't make things public. That's why it's hidden to some degree. So if you're going to share it, that's fine. Just make sure it's not public for everybody to be able to access. Only the people with the link should be able to access, and that would suffice. And I'm sure you already did that, but people who do Google, they understand things far better than I ever will. And so you can do it. I actually blocked myself out of my own Google account, I don't know how many times. And so I'll send an Excel spreadsheet out to somebody, and all of a sudden I can't access it. So anyway, that's a whole different conversation for another day. Other questions? Great. Okay, so it actually turns out we have just about 12 minutes, and we actually have 2 questions for you guys that we would like to throw out there. We actually tried something called a GRI Day. I don't know if you remember, we actually had 2 iterations of it, one in I think October, one in November, where we offered something to the GRI designees to help promote the value of the GRI designation to them, in turn in hopes that they would hopefully turn around and promote the GRI to other people. Admittedly, we did not have as much or as effective of an experience in the increase of the GRI attendees as we had hoped. And so we're looking at other things that we can do to promote the value of the GRI to increase attendees for you guys at the end of the day. We oftentimes have been talking about, hey, attend this class on this day at this time, which is great, but oftentimes you might get this, what's a GRI? And so our goal is to hopefully bring this value to them as to what it is and how important it is. But we're all ears. And so if you have any ideas or recommendations on something we can do to help in that process, we have time, we have resources, and maybe even some money we can put to it to help promote the value of the GRI. But we want to hear from you before we try and take action, make a decision, and it's actually not as beneficial as you guys might have hoped. So any ideas?
I always like to market to newer agents because of the SAE credit, so I think that's a huge benefit to the GRI.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And we do have a message that we send out. There's about 12 of them that go out to new members once they join, and the GRI is actually specifically listed in there. But that's just an email, so which we can hopefully then maybe follow up with them as well. So that's a good point. Continue to focus to new members. Have you guys found any value in actually promoting it to the brokers and being them to encourage their members to come to the GRI class? Has anybody talked or thought about that or used that?
I think somebody was mentioning the coupon. I always also market the $50 coupon from GRI.
Humberto, it's really hard to hear you.
John, this is Linda. I really, as an office manager broker, I really encourage all my new agents to take the GRI for their SAE. Maybe we could do, some little testimonial videos from some of the ones that have taken it in the recent years, and to see how it has affected their business, how it's helped their business grow, as opposed to new licensees that have not taken the GRI. If you follow that 2-year period from licensure to renewal, and if they've taken the GRI, how has it really impacted their business in a positive manner, because I think it really does, as opposed to just taking 90 hours online somewhere just to accomplish that, you know, SAE requirement.
That's a great thought. Thanks, Linda. I wrote it down.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
There's a couple in the chat.
Keep on promoting new member orientation. That's a good one. When you guys promote a new member orientation, do you just say it, or do you actually have something you give to them to talk to them about it? How do you promote a new member orientation?
Jump in. Would something that's printed be of value to you guys? Do you have like something that they could have as a takeaway from new member orientation? Would that be something that would be helpful?
Getting a lot of head nods.
Or at least a PDF? Huh?
We're getting a lot of head nods and yeses in the chat.
Okay, good.
That's
So
a good note.
that's something that we can talk to marketing communications about, John, is creating something that's like a, you know, a little brochure or a flyer or something. I think we actually have those. We just haven't, just need to look at it and make sure it's updated.
Well, and Deb, if you do a printed thing, please make sure you put some little testimonial blurbs on there from agents that have used it. That referral, that testimonial goes a long way, you know, on everything, because we, you know, even we go into Google and check something out, you know, how is it ranked? How is it rated? So to have that referral on there would be good too. Maybe you do a trifold,
Yeah, I think,
and the last part of it is different snippets from different agents on how it's made a difference in their business. That's the main thing they want to know, is how is this going to benefit my business? How is this going to make, you know, more income for me and my family?
exactly. So
And
is
to that
that
point-
the flyer that's uploaded? Is that ours or your own? So,
Umberto.
you see it in chat?
I can't see it.
It's
That's
theirs.
Umberto.
Oh, it's yours. Okay. Yeah, we have one too, but we probably need to look at it and make sure it's updated.
Well, and to that, because I also saw something about printed coupon. What we might even be able to do is take Linda's idea of a trifold, and on the very back of the trifold is a printed copy of their coupon. So when they have it in hand, they can actually then turn around and use it to sign up for a future class. So we'll keep on talking around these ideas of some physical materials. I know somebody said something about a PDF. Yes, everything we do will definitely be placed as a PDF on our website, on the course administration page. So you have access to it at all times. Then the last question, we have 5 minutes left. I fully recognize it's not always enough time to be able to talk about everything. And as always, this is an ongoing conversation. Just because we don't talk about it here doesn't mean we can't talk about it as time progresses. But the one thing we want to definitely ask you guys is, what are some of your pain points that we can actually help you guys do better? If there's something out there like, this is going good, but what can be better? It could be better. We want to be able to focus on serving you guys to make sure you're able to do what you guys do well, which is obviously serving the members and educating them. And so that's our primary focus. And so if there's something that we can do to help you, then please let us know. That's why we're here. If anybody has any immediate ideas, we are all game. We even have pen and paper ready, and the Zoom is working so far for the next 4 minutes. Hopefully.
I think they're all shy today, which is really pretty remarkable, but
Take it as we're
'cause I
doing
know
a
none
really
of
good
you
job.
are shy.
Well, see, I'm new to the education, so I'm trying to get ideas on what I can do better.
Yeah, we're really glad that you're here. I mean, talk about jumping into it. I think you started during the COVID time, right? In education, at least. And so this is a whole new world for you, I'm sure. So kudos to you. It seems like it's working pretty well for you guys.
John, I think it might be good if we could produce some social media collateral that they can use on their pages, so that you have some consistency, you know, across the state. But stuff, say, you know, maybe some little Instagram posts and things for Facebook, and include some clips to some testimonial videos in that too, I think would be great.
That is a great idea. We are actually, and I haven't mentioned this yet, maybe I have, I don't remember. Every Zoom meeting looks the same eventually over time. But we're actually working with our marketing and communications department about promotional materials about the value of education through a local association, and recognizing that obviously quality education trumps cheap education every day to help the longevity and sustainability in a business. And so it's not about cost, it's about quality. And so with that, we're going to make sure we are able to give it to you guys, then promote saying, hey, it's good to take classes from us. In addition to that, we'll push, hey, it's good to take classes from local associations. So it is something we're doing. The social media clip, and especially the testimonial component, is definitely a good part. I'll make sure and include that whenever I'm talking to our Marcom team about that. So that's a good point. Any other ideas?
Well,
We have 2 minutes.
do you have a page where new members can go, like when they first finish new agent orientation and they're like, I don't know what to do now? Like maybe give them some guidance, like the first step is take your GRI, or, you know, I don't really know the steps, but is it somewhere I can send them on your website so they can kind of have guidance on the steps they need to take as far as education?
Absolutely not. That's a great idea, though. So one thing that has actually come up with is something called like a pathway to professionalism, and helping people move in that way. Oftentimes, like the C2EX is supposed to be fashioned after that. You know, taking you from wherever you are, whether you're a new or experienced agent, and hopefully moving you to that next step. That's the goal of the C2EX. We've been trying to work on a pathway to professionalism that can really help people understand the natural track and tendency for people for success in education. Honestly, we don't have one. It's such a daunting task that it's going to take a lot of metadata that we're going to have to kind of comb over and understand, and we're just not that smart right now. But eventually, we'll figure it out, and we'll be able to start tracking that and make sure that there's research to show that this is the best track for you personally, Realtor A that has just joined, or Realtor that has been here for 20 years, of your next steps to increase your productivity. It's a good idea. We're not there yet, but eventually, yes, that's a great idea, and we would love to jump on that.
Not there yet. I can still pathway of professionalism, right, for my own use.
Say it again?
It becomes very, like John was saying, very daunting, because, you know, how do you say, well, you should get your ABR first, or you should get your CRS first, or, you know, what, it becomes really overwhelming as far as what direction do you take, what are your options, you know? So I think it's just narrowing that down that becomes challenging.
Okay.
So the one thing that I would like to add, John, is if we can do more of it like in a pictograph style or something like that, as opposed to just a lot of verbiage, where it's a little bit more visual and hits the high points, I think it will grasp their attention a little better instead of just a lot of words.
That's a really good point, Linda. Let me throw this out there really fast, knowing that it is exactly 2 o'clock, but I just want to see a head nod of yes, no, and it's okay if it's a no. But what if we come up with, like, a set of questions of what are your goals, you know, of being a real estate, you know, being a realtor? You know, what do you hope to aspire to do or to be or to produce, whatever it might be? And we start figuring out their profile from the questions that they ask. And then parents saying, well, based upon the information that you have provided with your goals, hopes and dreams and aspirations, here's what the pathway is for you. We don't have to worry about the research as much as we just ask them, you know, what are you trying to accomplish? Because we know individually what every class is, what it's about, how it benefits them. And so when they ask you what education do I have to take, I'm like, well, who are you? You know, and what do you want to do in life? There's so many possibilities that hopefully we can narrow it down with just a simple questionnaire. But then with that, you're right, providing some kind of a tutorial of like, hey, here's your pathway, and showing them the steps. That is a good point.
Linda, quick question. Did you envision that to include things like participating in an annual conference and, you know, getting involved with tree pack and, you know, other things like that, you know, that would be, or just education?
You know, it just kind of depends on how you want to do it. If you want to do it education, it would just be education, but like pathway to professionalism, I mean, part of the professionalism is being involved in the industry and broadening your horizons, whether it's going to be conferences, tree pack, all of that kind of stuff, and looking at the industry and participating at a higher level than just a licensee. But I do think for new agents, that's probably going to be a year or so in, just because they're just trying to get them, the learning curve for the industry is so steep that they need to get that under their belt and then move forward.
Well, that's why I think one of the questions should be, would you like to volunteer in the future? Like when you do your questions, John, I think that's a great idea, because I have someone who contacted the office today, and they've been in the industry for a while and they just want to know how to use systems. So I think if they take that like questionnaire, I guess they can figure out what programs or where they can go or what classes they can take to get that information.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely think that we now have our marching orders at the very next thing that we're going to be focused on. So I definitely appreciate that. I know that we have ran over by 3 minutes, and I apologize that. We really tried to honor your time. And so with that, we will go ahead and conclude the meeting. But as always, we are always open and available to any ideas or suggestions to help benefit the education for the members as a whole. If you guys have any questions as we progress, please feel free to reach out to us. Deb, thank you for co-conspiring in this event and making sure that we at least have to stay for an hour. And also, please don't forget that next week we are going to have our speaker showcase. And if you have any questions about that, let us know. But we do have a lineup of 4 good instructors that are, some are new, some are experienced, but they want to be able to showcase themselves to you guys. If you need the link to their profile or their application, let us know. But otherwise, we just look forward to seeing you guys next week and also communicating with you guys throughout the week until then. So thank you guys for your time, and we'll see you on June 23rd.
See you next week. Bye.
We really appreciate you guys coming. It's great. Keep it up. Thanks.